Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alissa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And this is going to be a strategically unteased show because I can already sense off mic, we've been talking about so many things that this may be one of those organic shows that mutates into weird directions. And I'm just going to say you're just going to have to listen and take what you get.
How exciting.
That shows.
I love mutating.
Exactly. But one thing that is not mutating.
Photosynthesis.
One thing that is written in stone. Well, it's written in contract. It's a written contract.
Written on paper.
With one of our guests, we could have gotten him to put it in stone.
Nothing's ever written in stone. There's always fluid situations. Hopefully, we won't have like another Hollywood strike or something that upsets the apple cart. But as of right now, we have two celebrity guests coming to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, November 23rd and 24th, and I'm very pleased about these. So
yeah.
I'm just going to say it. If you listen to a recent episode of Geek Tank Radio, you know that we interviewed the legendary Phil Hendry, and he's one of those guys, if you know him, he is a legend. If you don't know him, you should get to know him. Al, I'm telling you, he is hilarious.
And honestly, the best way to get to know him is just come meet him
in
November.
He's never done a convention before. These are some serious bragging rights. We are literally the only convention he's ever, the first convention he's been to. He's going to do kind of a stand-up routine, which is going to be fun. He doesn't do the typical. He's not a joke teller. He tells stories, and they're funnier. He sets out these outrageous premises too.
Yeah.
So if you want to attend that, it's going to be $50. Just go to our website, memphiscfc.com. The $50 gets you entrance into that show. It gets you an autograph with Phil Hendry, and if you're one of the first 100 people to get a ticket, you get a free photo op. I mean, that's pretty. Yeah. I don't know how much more we can do.
Yeah,
that's a great deal.
Yeah,
I think that we did this once before with one of our guests who had to bug out on us because of COVID.
Right. And
we
almost sold the thing out.
We understood it,
yeah.
and we did sell it out. And people got a lot of good stuff, and I think we're matching that this time around with Phil.
And so we're very excited about Phil Hendry. It's Hendrie. It's not Henry. So if you're Googling it and if you want to look up, he's got 60,000 hours of content on his website, and it's all hilarious. So check it out. But also we have a second. We said, you know what? Let's get two guests this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you tell them who.
So, and our second guest is a gentleman who has voiced some of your favorite anime characters, like a certain character named Shanks on One Piece. But he also plays the villain Quintus in global phenomena The Chosen.
The Chosen is a huge show.
We're bringing Brandon Potter, and he'll be there all weekend.
Yeah, and Quintus is hilarious. He's kind of he literally sounds like Q. I have to wonder if there were Star Trek fans on the panel, because if you listen, they sound identical, and he's got the same smarminess and the same cocky attitude, and he's a Roman governor. He's really funny, or procurator.
But the one thing I can say about and nothing against Delancey's range, but after looking at some of the stuff that Brandon Potter has in his IMDb, his range is through the roof. I mean, his various voice acting,
a lot of variety,
his video game voiceovers, his live action stuff. He doesn't play the same character twice.
No, he could be a real sympathetic, likable character, or a guy you just want to punch in the face. He's got that range. But you did say it too. He's a very well versed in video games and anime as well. So it's interesting the reaction we're getting fans of The Chosen, and we're also getting fans of his other work. It's a real diverse fan base that he. Yeah.
We've always said that geekdom can bring people together.
Yeah,
and he seems to be the epitome of that.
So get your tickets at memphiscfc.com. We're not going to plug this every week, but when we have something noteworthy, when this just happens, we got to let you know about it. So, and go to our Facebook page, because we'll make posts there. The Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention Facebook page. But
and most of those will be shared directly to our Geek Tank Radio Facebook page as well.
Yeah,
as long as I'm awake enough to remember.
Yeah, they pretty much link up. Did you have something, Max, you wanted to mention?
Oh, I was just going to mention, just for happy chat purposes, that we're coming up on an interesting anniversary this week.
No.
All right, what is it?
This never ends well.
Yeah, that's a hard left turn, Max. You don't know about the gentle transition, do you? So
no, I don't. Ahead. I don't really care, anyways. But this week, I wanted to wish a very happy anniversary to the wonderful movie known as Pirates of the Caribbean.
That anniversary.
wow.
Curse of the Black Pearl came out.
When did it come out?
It was 2003.
What
Wow.
a great movie. I mean, that movie, I don't care. I will die on that hill. That is a masterpiece.
It's a great movie.
That is it. They blew it.
It's old
by
enough to
adding-
drink.
Yeah. It was 2003. It seems very ahead of
I
its
was only
time.
6 at the time.
Well, I told you guys, and I don't know if it was this way when you saw it, but I saw it in the theater, and it's the only film I can ever remember the audience just clapping and standing up after it was over. It was that fun and that well done.
Did you
I'm
not
glad
go
that
to
people
Endgame?
stopped doing that.
No, Endgame was not the same kind of. It was not. It was different.
It wasn't
this was
a
like
saga.
a theater.
This
This
was
was
the
like
beginning of something.
this when I saw Pirates of the Caribbean. It was like when you went to a Broadway show. That was the reaction. They stood up. They clapped. It was that kind of. I'm telling you.
What'd you see on Broadway?
I saw it at the Malco too. I'm just saying.
no,
But-
I'm asking.
Well, I've
What'd you
seen
see on Broadway?
Wicked and a Broadway show. But I mean, Alan, even you have to like Pirates of the Caribbean. The first
I
one.
never said I didn't. Joe's looking at me like I've ever said anything cross about him. No. I love the pirate thing. I thought it was fun that before the movie was released, there were a number of critics. You know, somebody ought to tell Disney you don't make movies out of your rides. You know,
I didn't even know it was based on.
I
a
don't
ride.
know
Yeah.
what you people were thinking, but I mean, I remember review
Oh, yeah.
after review after review, and then it came out, and you went, "Hey guys, it's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, I don't-
It's fun." All right, you remember when
Yeah, but
movies
it's sharp
were
too.
fun
And smart.
and
I know I'm shooting myself in the foot here based on what we do,
Yeah.
but critics take themselves entirely too seriously. They
Yeah.
just
You're
need to
not
sit
wrong.
back and enjoy
Right,
the
well,
escapism.
there's a big
Yeah.
difference between critique and criticize.
Right.
And critique can go either way. And what I truly like about that movie, and I actually still use that movie for stunt training, is the sword fight between the blacksmith and the pirate is the second best sword fight on film. In my opinion.
Princess Bride's
wow.
the first, right?
Yes.
The Princess
And you know what?
Bride
Yeah,
is the
dude.
first. You are so
best
correct.
one.
I have a first place one, but it's digital, not
No,
real
Well, let's
people.
keep it-
no,
keep it
for
as a tease.
For people to actually do
Okay.
pirates.
Hey, we're gonna weigh in on that when we come back because we all have an opinion, and we'll give it when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Even the Riddler can't figure this show out. The Geek Patrol is back.
He sounds dangerously close. Every time he sounded like he's about to get us censored. But anyway, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alissa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, who, if you're just tuning in, boy, did he didn't trigger us, but he triggered a reaction. He let us know that this week is a great anniversary, the anniversary of the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I make the distinction because I couldn't care less about the rest of them. I think they ruined it, but by adding, they should have just left it one and done, but they never do that in Hollywood. However, off the air, we had a veritable verbal battle going on because there was discussion about what is the greatest sword fight in movie history. And I mean, well, let's just be fair. In modern history, I didn't see every Errol Flynn movie or anything, but in modern history, we were talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Princess Bride. You like the battle in between Johnny Depp's whatever, the one in the
I'm gonna
blacksmith
qualify
shop.
that.
Between Jack Sparrow and Will Turner.
Will Turner,
The first one.
amongst all the gears and everything else. Yeah.
Because
while the donkey's walking in a circle.
Right, exactly.
And,
What I'm going to qualify that is that it was a master class to any future filmmaker. The fight between Inigo and the Man in Black, the donkey fight, if we want to call it that, was a master class in the conversation and the attention they spent on every aspect of the fight, because they were both very leisurely shot.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't like a little, woo, okay, and fight, and okay, the fight's over, and now let's move on.
Right.
That scene in the Pirates of the Caribbean was leisurely. I mean, it is minutes long, and
Right.
there's long pauses, there's long single shot takes
Yeah.
of, and it's just, And it didn't, and you could never say it slowed the movie down, because if you were watching that sword fight and you were not edging up to the end of your seat and you weren't rooting for one or the other or both, or the donkey, you were just involved.
Sides, actually.
Yeah.
You were submerged. Now, I will freely concede to Brandon,
sir,
that your fight scene,
yes,
by all means,
by the Inigo Montoya and the Six-Fingered Man in Princess Bride,
the big climax, the big ending.
It is by far one of the most technically advanced sword fights ever performed by actors, not their stunt doubles, in a motion picture.
Oh, they studied. You got to give them hats off.
Yeah.
All of them had to learn to sword fight. There's no stunt doubles.
There's an interview with Mandy Patinkin from a few years back where he's talking about how they did this and how they went through all the motions and everything else. And then at the end, Rob Reiner's like, all right, I want you guys to do it one more time so we can film it from above. And then they did it, and he goes, cut, that's a wrap. And Mandy Patinkin cried because it meant that they weren't going to do it again.
Well, he worked really hard, and I heard Mandy Patinkin was very competitive too, and he knew he was the best sword fighter. Yet he has to lose the duel to
when him
Dread Pirate Roberts,
when Inigo and Wesley are fighting,
right?
Yeah, it's like,
and it bugged him because he's like he knew he was, but the dialogue is what's. With both of these, the Pirates of the Caribbean and which I would say almost is a spiritual successor to The Princess Bride in terms of its sensibilities.
I can give you that, yeah.
But the talk, dialogue is what made these movies great. Mm-hmm. It's not just the action or the characters.
It's what made Geoffrey Rush such an engaging character.
Yeah.
He just knew how to say the right things at the right time. He didn't need to be eloquent, like when he was saying, "Oh, I'm afraid I'm disinclined to acquiesce." That means no.
Right. And I want to just say one thing. I want to compare the Pirates of the Caribbean to the movie that they made about Al Capone with Kevin Costner back in. It had a horrible soundtrack.
The Untouchables.
The Untouchable. It was a terrible soundtrack. The Pirates of the Caribbean had a brilliant soundtrack, and I wonder there's nothing off. Everything in the Pirates of the Caribbean is perfectly executed and fun, and I have to wonder if this movie would have been the same without the soundtrack. That theme sticks in your head.
Absolutely not.
No. The thing is, it's like it's a good example of like the right leitmotif. You don't need to have a lot of variation. If you there's one of my favorite movies in terms of like that also revolves around sword fighting, has a great leitmotif that plays throughout the entire film too. It's called Sword of the Stranger.
And what else is it about? What is it about the Pirates of the Caribbean where even these little side ancillary characters, like the two guys at the boat dock when Johnny Depp pulls up and they're arguing about how much money you got to pay to sign in and all this stuff, there isn't really one wasted character.
No, I think everyone brought like a little bit of comedy to the film in the background and in the forefront. It was really nice.
What do you think, Alec? Because you must not. 2003. I'm sorry.
I didn't watch it when it came out because I wasn't old enough and it was too scary.
I did.
But
we have
I remember seeing it when I was older, and I love it. I love that movie. It's really good. I remember riding the ride. We went to Disney when I was a kid, like 7, and I remember riding the ride, and it was scary.
It's an actually scary. because things are jumping out at you.
Yeah, and they got the bone and the dogs, and you're in the jail cells.
It's a jump scare ride. Yeah,
It's a little scary. But I like that movie a lot. It has really good sound design, which I think is really important. My most fond memory of that movie is actually really silly, but my dad has surround sound in our home or in his home, and he used to test it watching scenes from that movie. So I would just have to hear like the ship fights over and over again because the cannon explosions really helped get the speakers tuned in.
You know what they did in the Pirates of the Caribbean that I thought was subtle but very sophisticated and it made a big impact. You remember when they blew up the ship, but they didn't show a close up of the ship and they blew it up in the background. To me, that made it more impactful. It was like they did a lot of really cool filmmaking in that movie too. But did it make you want to watch the sequels? Because I couldn't care less about the sequel.
No, I can't remember the last time I watched any of the sequels to that movie.
Yeah, I don't even know what they were about. So
I think the second one's like okay, and I don't even know if I've seen the ones after that.
Right. I heard the fourth one was okay, but I just couldn't bring myself to watch it.
Well, the problem is you have no discovery.
Yeah.
the fun thing about this first movie was we'd never seen these characters before. Yeah. We'd seen pirate movies before. We'd seen sword movies. We're all a bunch of geeks and nerds. We've all seen that stuff. But we hadn't seen this combination.
Hadn't seen pirate zombie sword fighters.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was exciting.
Well, if you're out there and somehow you haven't seen the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, get out and see it.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Can't be too careful with all those weirdos around.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and Alissa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we just really can't let this go. We're going to move along, but I just had a parting thought. Max told us that today is the anniversary of the release of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Not today, it's just around the week.
All right, close enough. Of the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I always make that distinction because for my view, the first one is a legitimate masterpiece. I really couldn't care less about the sequels. But one thing I wanted to say before we move along is one thing, too, is every character had their own arc. Every character, you might have gone from hating a character to loving that character by the end of the movie, which to me always is a good sign of great writing and good acting and good directing, because that's not an easy task to make you. And Commodore Norrington is the one that stands out in my mind. He went from being this annoying, pretentious, uptight, leader to somebody you're like, okay, this guy's got dignity and class and bravery, and very cool the way it played out.
But he had to go hit rock bottom, or pig slop bottom, technically.
Yeah.
Before, and then come back. But then, sorry guys, spoilers. If you hadn't seen these movies already, spoilers. He sacrifices himself in the end for them.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Full on good dude.
Okay, so
he always meant well.
Yeah, so we're moving along, but we wanted to, we do love those movies, and it's easy to tie those to a conversation about The Princess Bride, in terms of its execution. But, we don't talk much about video games on Geek Tank. I don't know why.
Because you don't play them?
I don't, but you guys do, and they are they're bigger than any other medium, aren't they?
True. I mean, no, that is absolutely true, and they probably should get more attention. But have you ever tried to talk about a subject that nobody else wants to talk about? Cubs. And
hey, that's in my. You've seen my show notes, so
you've got the blank stares back at you. Eventually, you just stop trying.
No, but part of our job is to break this down. We're on a rock station, but we want to translate this for maybe the people. I think you tell me this all the time, Brandon. This is mainstream.
It is.
So I'm the outsider, not everybody else. But
so true.
Mm-hmm. But Alissa, you are. Gamer,
yeah,
right?
I play video games. I wouldn't say I'm a gamer per se.
You have a Twitch channel.
But I play games. I don't stream yet.
You have a Twitch channel?
I do
that's
have
hardcore.
a Twitch channel.
Okay.
But
right,
I play games with friends.
By definition, you're a gamer.
I have played Fortnite on stream with other streamers. I'm not very good at Fortnite, but you know what I am good at? Carrying things for people. You need bullets. I have them. You need
she's the pack mule.
Healing potions. I got 3 of them. You need a health pack. I have 3 of those too, baby.
What does
That's
that mean?
what I'm here for.
So you're support staff?
Pretty much.
You're logistics and support.
She is the MASH unit.
I'm not the best at shooting, but I am the greatest at looting. So.
This explains a lot. It's kind of similar to your role at the convention.
No. Let me break this down even more.
I'm here to support you.
So,
okay.
A year or so back, they brought out a retro Ninja Turtle game, Shredder's Revenge. Alissa's the one. All right, so you can play the 6 people to the game. Alyssa's the one who runs back and forth and heals the rest of us and revives us between
I'm like,
beating
I got
the crap out
pizza.
of things.
Who needs pizza?
You're like the MASH unit. You're there
exactly.
supporting the battle.
And that's how I like it. And then I also I recently started playing the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. I just finished the first one.
Lego games are so cool.
It was so fun. I hadn't played a Lego Star Wars game since I was like a kid, and it's quite enjoyable. It's fun to watch your little Lego parts fall apart.
The stakes are lower in a Lego game, right?
Yes, it's funny, the little comedic quips they shove in there to make it funnier than the movie, but then they still keep other lines direct.
I think one of the things I love about Lego games, and me and my wife Amy, we always play them together. We do not play them, without the other one. And we've been through the Indiana Jones ones. We've been through the old school Star Wars ones. we have Skywalker Saga, but we have to get through Harry Potter before we can do that one. And we did Jurassic World, stuff like that.
Fun.
So but you're right. It's like they keep the story of the movie, but then there's little things like, like in Jurassic Park, the cow that gets fed to the raptors somehow escapes, and you see it in the background running away.
Oh, yeah. They don't want to traumatize some kids.
While the stakes may not be as high as some of the other games, the difficulty can be, especially if you're
some of the puzzle games are like crazy hard.
Seriously, yeah.
It was wild. But it was a lot of fun. I recently finished A Little to the Left, which is just an organizational game. You're just
A Little to the Left.
organizing things, and then a little cat is like in the background, and he'll like knock stuff over that you just aligned perfectly. It's so cute and fun.
This sounds like a Tool Talk training game.
Is that therapy like just a relaxing kind of game? Because there's talk about no stakes. I mean,
truly, it's you're literally just aligning things. There's like one level, it's just pencils, and you're just lining them up.
Okay,
and they click into
That's
place.
Kind of
I
lame,
have to ask.
It's a lot of fun.
I have to ask. How often do you find yourself cussing at the cat?
Pretty often, especially if it was like a particularly because you can get hints, but they really leave it up to you to figure out how to align everything and like figure out what it's supposed to look like. So if there's one that was really hard and I spent a long time doing it, like there's one with some 4-leaf clovers and you have to figure out exactly how it's supposed to be laid out. And then that little cat just comes in and swooshes them all away at the end. And then you just move on to the next round. You don't get to fix them back.
You can't shoot the cat. You can't. Okay.
Yeah. But it's fun.
We would never shoot the cat, even if it's digital.
And the end credits, you get to be the cat and then you just get to mess everything up. And that part was fun.
There you go.
It's weird because every time I hear stuff like this, I always imagine the pitch meeting. That's where my mind goes to. Well, we're going to make a video game. We're going to invest this much money. It's going to be about organizing pencils.
We should show him the trailer to Stray.
Yeah, you would love Stray. I think you'd think it's so cute.
But you got to convince people to spend money and resources on these concepts.
I'll recommend to our listeners Steam Summer Sale. I think it's going on for the rest of this week, maybe. Check it out. I got a lot of games on sale. That's why I did it.
What is it?
The Steam Summer Sale. So there's a lot of stuff on sale right now. Like I think the whole Star Wars saga was like maybe $20. I can't remember, if that.
Wait, when you say that, are you saying you can order it?
No, it's just like all online games.
These are online. Steam is basically it sets you up with a digital account.
It's like buying it on like when you're on your Xbox and you're in the Xbox store.
Instead of buying a physical copy.
Yeah, it's just for PC
Or
games.
Amazon when you buy a movie, you don't get the movie, you get a digital download.
Right. Yeah.
So okay. Well, Al, do you find that this relaxes you too?
Yeah. A ton. I clock out of work, I put my work laptop away, and I pull up my games.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah,
We're going to continue here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. There's something prophetic about that utterance there, Max. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and Alissa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And there's a reason we didn't tease out today's show. It played out exactly as I knew it would. In an organic fashion. I had my show notes here, Allan, and they've all been scrapped and thrown in the garbage because
you're welcome.
The conversation off the air is leading us in different directions. And Allan, I didn't know this was Shark Week. Oddly, ties in very nice with our Pirates of the Caribbean.
It does.
Discussion. And I really couldn't care less about Shark Week, but you mention it every year. And we never really throw the floor, open.
Well, the fact that it is the single most watched media event of the universe every year for a week. National Geographic has even one-upped it, and they now have Shark Fest, which is the entire month. So if you can't get enough sushi, buy dinghies. Somebody has got to fish.
Did you literally say by dinghies?
I did.
Question.
I'm leaving.
Is there and we know we're hearing all about Jaws. I mean, it's the 50th anniversary is coming up
next
year.
There's that new Lego set. And what I liked about the commercial for it, going back to the Lego Star Wars thing, is they neutered it to where you get the basic plot points, but it's not, she wasn't skinny dipping and got eaten. She got ping pong to like an island or whatever.
Yeah, she had to go hide on the thing. Yeah, nobody really dies in the Lego Jaws. But Allan, is there a shark fan base? Are we ever going to see a Shark Con? A convention fan base.
I
don't know.
Already exists.
All right,
Dude,
I don't
Okay,
know.
wait, I want to go.
Decades.
Okay, what do you do
Are they at the
there?
bottom of the ocean?
Have you not been to an
Are they
aquarium?
in diving cages?
I'm talking about a convention dedicated to shark
You
fandom.
chum the waters and watch them go.
What
That's
does
what
the
I'm saying.
vendor
I'm
room
like,
look like?
Can I go underwater? Is this an underwater event?
Have you ever been to a fisherman's wharf?
Yeah.
Hey, the vendor room at a shark con is very much like that.
You're saying that, are there really shark cons?
Yes, there are, but I'm giving you
I
grief
thought
because
it's
I've
just
never
like
been
a
to
furry
one.
convention, but like a subspecies.
Oh no. All right. We got to take it seriously for a minute, and then we can get back to our goofiness. But
I never know if you're making stuff up. I've never heard of one.
It's kind of like the same thing as like a UFO convention or stuff like that. You have experts that come and they'll do panels and everything. You'll have people who sell like various types of merchandise, whether it be sonar equipment or underwater cameras, things like that. But then you'll also have someone who's wearing sells the shirt that has the shark bite in the side. It says, "I'm fine." But you see the blood stains.
How do you know this?
Because I have
stuff that I've never heard of, man. It's like
I have friends in the aquatics community that I hang out with on Twitter during various things back when it was Twitter. Now that it's X, we don't have the open spaces as much anymore.
Right.
And pretty much every open space you see now, it's complaining about politics, which you know how I feel about that.
I got to go to a shark convention. But Allan, you obviously care about this stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
What is the attraction?
I used to live on South Padre Island in Texas. Sharks, alligators, and really big turtles were a daily event.
You could see them from the ferry in Galveston.
Yeah.
I could walk out to the end of my dock and look down and go, "How you doing, Fred?"
Yeah, but I didn't live on San Padre Island, though. I lived in League City.
He's in his little house. You're in your house.
Yeah, well, no, he was living under my house was the thing.
Your house was on top of his house.
Yeah. Get it right, buddy.
You rented the apartment
He's
above
your
his
landlord.
garage.
Okay.
That's true.
The more documentaries I watch about sharks, the more you realize they're sort of misunderstood creatures. They're not. Jaws isn't obviously an accurate representation of a shark. Like we need sharks.
Where
and
are the
sometimes
spiders in their house?
Yeah, isn't that right? I mean, it's not like you want to get up close to a shark, but they're also not quite as deadly for us.
Well, they're not
right?
sitting around going, hey, somebody's getting in the water. Yeah, that's
They
not
don't
what
even
they're
like
doing.
the
They're-
taste
they're-
of us. So.
Well, they're doing their thing.
Yeah,
So, they're off doing their thing. And, hey, all right, I'm going to pick on the Turons of Yellowstone for a moment. When you are in the neighborhood of large creatures that are not domesticated and don't know you,
yeah.
It's kind of like walking up to a stranger and their dog and
You don't
reaching
just
for
start
the
petting.
dog as you issue your famous last words, "Does it bite?"
Yeah.
And my answer is, does it have teeth?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because even if it is a chihuahua and it doesn't know you and it's having a bad day,
well, let's just be honest.
you might get nibbled.
Let's be honest. The chihuahua's going to bite you.
I was like, especially if it's a chihuahua.
It's going to get you out of spite.
Yeah.
But, we got people that honestly think they can go pet the teddy bear.
You don't pet the fluffy cow.
Do not. That is an urban assault cow.
Yes.
You do not pet the big fluffy cow.
I was asking you about
Bison.
sharks, though.
Well, but
'Cause
I'm
we got
pointing
2
out,
minutes out.
But I'm pointing out that when you go in the water,
Yeah.
as Miss Alissa has pointed out, you have entered its house.
Yeah.
Do not touch it. Do not pet it. Do not grab it by the tail. Do not do stupid things. And when people do dumb things, dumb things happen.
Well,
Yeah.
I've seen videos where they're swimming around with the sharks. They're not petting them, but
Right.
they're
Yeah,
and
but
so
you're in their territory.
But those experts will tell you as they go into the water, never turn your back on them because you don't know what you may do that will startle
trigger
one.
them. Yeah.
And once you've startled one, it goes into
A
defense mode.
Right.
Yeah. What were you saying, man?
I mean, I was going to say they're the remoras that literally latch onto the sharks, and that's almost as polar opposite as you can get.
yeah, they're like the guys that hang out with Jabba the Hutt. What are those little dudes? The one.
Right.
That,
Salacious Crumb.
Salacious Crumb,
Right,
yeah.
Joe, I have a con term for you. They are indeed
Booth
booth
barnacles.
barnacles.
right.
There you go.
Exactly.
You
but,
can now call them booth remoras.
okay. Do you got any quick
No, that
recommendations
seems classy.
for shark fans? Because I mean, there's a million different documentaries and things.
Oh,
is
there are, but
Who does it the best?
right now, I'm enjoying of all
John Cena.
people. Cena's doing a pretty good job hosting. He's goofy enough that he's going to try a chum smoothie and that he's going to do something weird.
I'm going to check it out.
And, he's just having fun. The best show they've done so far is the one where they don't actually find it, but they get a recording of it from Noah and they play it, and everything, including all the sharks, bail.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Speaking of bailing, we got to get out of here. What an abrupt ending. There's no chance. So you've been listening to another weird episode of Geek Tank Radio. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Alissa Diggs.
And I'm Brandon Olmsted, hoping that next week will be a little bit more on key.